over the next few minutes, I want to talk to you, realtor to realtor, as to what you can do to help separate yourself from the other 19,999 agents here in the area. And that's right, that's what I said. If you go into the MLS here in the Charlotte area, the greater Charlotte area, there are roughly 20,000 people that hold a real estate license. So if you plan on being successful and you plan on having fun in this business, what can you do to separate yourself from everyone else? It's important to know all the statistics, how much the average house price is, what are the interest rates, what's going on in a neighborhood, what new district is blowing up. Those things matter, but they're not the end all be all. I want to share with you the top 3 things that I feel will help you grow your business and, even more importantly, have a hell of a lot of fun in this. Number 1, let's face it, today with the internet, any buyer or seller can find out anything about a house that they want. For the most part, there's really nothing that they can't find out. The only thing they need you for, drumroll, is the key to the house. That truly is the one thing that anybody on Zillow, Realtor.com, or anywhere out there really needs you for. And the sooner that you realize that 99% of any buyer or seller could theoretically do this without your help, you're gonna put yourself in a better position. This is the one thing that truly, if you don't separate yourself, the buyer or the seller doesn't really need you. They can sell a house on their own, they can buy a house on their own. So what is it? When I go meet with a buyer or a seller for the very first time, I'm not diving into the details of the house that we're going to see, even if I'm going on a listing presentation. Yeah, I'm gonna try to know the ins and outs, but at the end of the day, they're going to make a decision within the first 30 seconds to 2 minutes of whether they ever want to see you again or not. So what is it that you do? What is it that I do to help separate that? And it's build a relationship with them. At the end of the day, they're going to walk around the house. They're either going to like it or they're not. And if they do like it and they want to move further on in the process of possibly buying that home, yeah, you need to know the information. But if you walk into a house and you start vomiting information about that property, it's not going to get them excited about working with you. So what is it that you can do? How can you build a connection with someone immediately to help continue that relationship, not just from today, not just from that 30 minutes of seeing that house, but on to the future? Look, I love sports. I love soccer. And soccer is one of the biggest sports all over the world. I guarantee you that if I meet somebody that's from a different country, I'm sure as hell going to find out anything I can about that country and that soccer team to build some sort of connection with them. Now, that may not be your thing, but it shows them that you genuinely care about something that matters to them other than just can they get pre-approved for a house. How many times do you walk into a house, meet somebody for the first time, and ask them if they're pre-approved for a loan right off the bat? You're killing yourself. You're shooting yourself in the foot, and there's no way that you're going to be successful with that. Find out what has led them to this point to want to buy a house now. It doesn't even matter where they're living now. It doesn't matter necessarily where they move from. What is the emotional connection that is going to want to put them in a position to be able to buy a house now? And not just buy a house now, but have you be the realtor that works for them. And that's right, that's what I said, works for them. I hear it all the time. Well, let me talk to my client. Let me see what my client wants. Oh my God, it drives me up the wall. They're not your client. If anything, you're their realtor. You're working for them. Like I said earlier, they don't need you. They don't have to have you. You have to be able to bring something to the table that no one else is bringing to the table for them to want to see you again. So number 1, when you walk into that house for the first time, whether it's to show them a house to buy or whether you're going to sit down with them and talk to them about trying to earn their business to be able to sell their house, you got to find a connection within that first 30 seconds to 2 minutes or you're done. You're lost. Number 2, we can either break trust or we can build trust right off the bat. But you've got to be authentic with people. You got to tell them the truth. You got to be real with them. And they're going to know right away if you're being honest with them. If you walk into a house and someone asks you, hey, what's your opinion on the value of this house? And you tell them that you feel like the house is worth what it's listed for, just so maybe they make an offer to do that, they know if you're not telling the truth. If you cannot build trust with that buyer, with that seller, with the client that you have the opportunity to work for, right off the bat, you're done. Now, myself, some of you know I'm actually sober, going on 11 years that I haven't had a drink. I had plenty of them before that. So with that being said, I'm not afraid to tell people that. I tell people straight up, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to lay it out on the table and I'm going to tell you the fact. I reiterate to that buyer, you don't need me. In theory, you could do this on your own. After I get the keys and take you inside the house, you don't need me for anything. I mean, that's just the truth of it. And I let them know that. I let them know straight up, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to let you know based on the market with my recommendations, what I see, what it's going to take to win this house, or what it's going to take to make sure we're putting you in the right position, not just to buy a house, but buy a home, right? If you're going to be in that place for 1 year, 2 years, and then it's going to become an investment property, I'm going to make sure that you know that you can trust me that in 2 years from now, I'm going to still be here. If you're buying a house and we know that the HVAC, the roof, and all these things are shot, they're old, you got to know that you can trust me that just after you close on the home, I've got my commission check, we shake hands, I give you a little Cutco closing gift. I'm going to be here for you. When you need to know where to go or what to do, I'm going to be here for you every step of the way, not just from the time we go into the house for the first time, but 5 years later until you're ready to move on into what's next. So, number 2, if you're a realtor and you cannot build trust with people and you can't be authentic with someone, the battle's lost. Make it a point to find a way to build trust with people from day one, and that's the most important thing. Number 3, and this really is for those of you out there who work leads in real estate. If you're working referrals and someone, says, hey, look, my realtor is the person. Like, you got to talk to them. They're going to be here. They're going to be here for you. That's great. But for those of you who are working leads in any sort of lead source, how are you going to separate yourself? If someone goes on Zillow, they want to see a house and they connect with you, what is it that you're doing to separate yourself? The thing that I've told my team over the years is you've got to build a story. You've got to find a story that you believe in. Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in the process? Do you believe in the product? Do you believe in anything? Years ago, I used to work for a company. I sold timeshare. For those of you who know it, please don't hold it against me. But I walked into my boss's office one day and I sat down. He said, Doug, I want to ask you a question. Do you believe in this product? And I was like, no, absolutely not. He said, well, do you like what you do? And I said, no, not at all. He said, do you feel like you should be working here? And I said, no, not at all. And that was it. I literally said, hey, thank you so much for this. This really opened my eyes. I got up and left. That was really scary. I had only been married for about 10 days. I'd just gotten back from my honeymoon. I was like, what in the world am I going to do? But I realized at that point that I had to believe in myself and I had to believe in my story as to what I wanted to do in life. And when you meet a buyer, you meet a seller right off the bat, they're going to know whether that you believe in yourself. The first time my wife and I bought a house, we had no clue what we were doing. We were living down in Florida. I had no clue that you could even get an inspection on a home. We didn't even know if we were going to get pre-approved for our loan until 3 days before we closed on the house. Now, for those of you who know me, I am like, the glass is 10 times full no matter what happens. My wife, who is the smarter one in our relationship, is always like, hey, let's be cautious. The glass is definitely half full or half empty. And she was nervous, scared to death. And so I tell people when I got into real estate, I wanted to make sure that if you allowed me the opportunity to work for you, that I was going to give you all of the information up front that you could be successful with or without me working for you. And that's my story. My story is that through my experiences and what I've gone through personally, that I wanted to make sure that I could put you as the buyer or the seller for the home in the best position to be successful based on my knowledge, my experiences, and my recommendation. And that's what I tell every time I meet a buyer or seller the very first time I meet with them. I let them know about my personal experiences and what I've gone through in my life to put me in the position to then be able to earn the trust, like I said, number 2, and how am I going to separate myself from every other person? Those are the top 3 things. And so as I sum up with this, if you're new in this business or you've been doing this for a long time, if you can't separate yourself from everyone else that a potential buyer or seller is going to meet with, they're not going to remember you. If you can't build trust with them right off the bat, they're not going to believe anything you say. And it doesn't matter, even if the relationship continues on, you're going to end up being at fault for something. And lastly, find your story. Listen, if you're in this business and you don't love it, if you're not willing to wake up at 4 a.m. and respond to someone's text message from 2 a.m. in the morning because they were out looking at Zillow when they were at the bar drinking and they want to go see that house tomorrow afternoon, you're missing the boat. I tell you, in real estate, they always say there's no fires in real estate. But the truth of it is, next time you're working for a buyer or seller, think about what they're going through. They're buying one home. You may be working with 5 clients, 10 clients, 20 clients at that one time. You may have sold 600 houses last year. And for you, it's second nature. But for that person that has given you the opportunity to work for them, this is their one time they're buying a house for the next 2 years, 5 years, 7 years, maybe 20 years. And if for them it is a fire, you better treat it like a fire. So build in your story. What have you done to help them be successful? So for those of you who have taken the time to kind of watch this and follow along, send me some comments. Let me know your thoughts. If you think that I'm wrong and you think that there is something out there greater, let me know. Let's talk about it. So again, thanks so much for taking the time to follow along with me, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time.